and read from my book every day. You were? So Yaya was there back in the day. We're gonna get into it though either way. We're gonna talk about medicine. We're gonna talk about some things that are going on in the world. We're gonna, drop these gems and we're gonna build on this stuff, right? Got all kind of shit highlighted because these go into all the things that we've been going over. And the reason why we're gonna do this fast is because we've been learning this information and it's all been talking about purity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're learning about all this purity and everybody's talking about magic and shit, then that means we can't just keep reading, right? Nothing's gonna change if all we do is read the books. Like if we find good information, we have to like utilize it in our real life and make it something, right? So the way that we do that is with this fast. Like that's one of the ways we're gonna do it because it goes into the shit that we've been reading about. So if we do it, then that means we're turning the information into like a manifestation, and it's not just something that's in a book anymore. So when people are asking you about these things, peace, Sage. So when people are asking you about these things, you're not just telling them something that you read about. You're telling these individuals something that you've experienced. So now your information becomes 10 times more potent, powerful, right? Because you've been there, you've done that. You got the real answers. When people start to ask you questions, you're gonna have the actual answers for them. You're not gonna have to be like, wait, hold on, what page 43 said. You know what I'm saying? You go like, yeah, shit, I was feeling this way and this is what I did to overcome it, et cetera, et cetera. This was the result. When I did find myself in a state of purity, these were the results as opposed to when I wasn't. You know what I mean? Right? The elders didn't have to send us to the hospital for things that weren't too serious, and that's because the medicine was in the yard. Not only was it in the yard and readily available for us, but our ancestors had their uses mastered. Our ancestors, being the descendants of medicine and wisdom manifested, were masters of the craft. And it's not until recent times that a lot of that wisdom has been lost. The erasure of this wisdom was systematically set into play and has been in play for a very long time. I was able to find evidence of this systematic erasure of our cultural wisdom, and I will present it to you here. If you were able to read my book titled Somebody's Been Lying, A Great American Deception, then you are well aware of the meaning behind culture. Culture is a direct connection to medicine, since medicine deals with plants and herbs, and culture deals with preparing the earth for crops, right? So, everybody, we all know culture is tilling the land and preparing the earth for crops, right? That's what culture is, right? So, when they say you don't have no culture, that's the one that you should start focusing on. When they be like, oh, you don't have no culture, you don't have no culture, right? And y'all want to talk about basketball and shit. You know what I'm saying? Wasting everybody's time. If you want to talk about culture, talk about the land, right? Talk about tilling the land and preparing the earth for crops, right? The culture that these people really stole from you. Everything else, they just be trying to use it with you, but they really stole the land. That's what really happened. The land got stolen. You know what I mean? The land got stolen, right? But the reason why is because that's where the medicine is. That's where the money is. That's where everything's at, right? I also suggested that everyone should do their genealogy. If you did, I am confident that many of you have found farmers and landowners. Put a one in the comments if you've done your genealogy and you found farmers and landowners. You know what I'm saying? Despite what they told you in history, put a one in the comments if you've done your genealogy and you found farmers and landowners and homeowners and business owners and all these kind of things, right? But there's a whole lot of farmers that are being found, and it's not like some kind of crazy ass coincidence or nothing like that. Peace and long life, boy. Just passing through, brother. Peace, peace. You don't have to pass through. You can stay and tap the screen for 2 hours. You could also do that. But I do appreciate you stopping by. I say improve by the. All right, hold on. I also suggested everyone do their genealogy. If you did, I'm confident that many of you have found farmers and landowners. Now, I promise to stay the course. So let's get back to the issue at hand, right? Demonology of King James. I say improve by diverse arguments that witches can, by the power of their master, cure and cause diseases. Now, by these same reasons, that proves their power by the devil of disease in general, is as well proved their power in special, as of weakening the nature of some men to make them unable for women, and making it to abound in others, more than the ordinary course of nature would permit, and such like in all other particular sicknesses. But one thing I will pray you to observe in all these places where I reason upon the devil's power, which is the different ends and scopes, that God as the first cause, the devil as his instrument and second cause. You feel me? Damn, I kind of read that kind of like rough at the end. But God is the first cause, right? We know God is nature, right? So God's the first cause. The devil is his instrument and second cause, right? And God is nature. So nature is the first cause, right? Okay, thanks. Nature is the first cause. Now that I'm back to reading, I guess I should get some things in order before I go live again the next time. I didn't know if I was going to go live now or if I was going to go live later, right? But remember, in this book, The Splendor Solace, where it was talking about, you finish things off where nature left them, right? You start from where nature left off, right? Peace, 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 y'all. So we just trying to add up our references real quick on make it make sense. But who knows? Oh, there we go. Right. Same difference, right? And such a Mercury nature has begun with primary action and ended in a metallic nature, having thus done her part, right? Leaving the rest for art to complete her work into a perfect philosopher's stone, right? But pretty much starting off where nature left off, right? To keep the work going, right? Nature's God, right? And the devil is the first cause, is the second cause, right? You can also be the second cause. But we're going to talk about how the devil's the second cause. We're going to get to all these different kind of fancy things that we're talking about to show and prove, right? Imagine a world where being capable of curing disease can be seen as evil. I'm sure that you can picture an old hag stirring an extremely large pot of full of bat heads. But what if I told you some may have looked like your grandmother in her garden? God is the first cause. So if we operate in righteousness, that will make God every cause. How much have we learned from the people who dishonored Mother Gaia? We are currently escaping a forced reality where we have been trained to be scared of our culture, scared of God, scared of nature, right? Movies, books, satires, plays, and other outlets have depicted our culture as demonic when in fact it never was. There has been an agenda for a very long time, right? The agenda is propaganda, right? So we know that they use propaganda to spread all kind of messages. They're using propaganda right now as we speak. You see propaganda every day wherever you go, and a lot of the propaganda they use is to make people hate each other. A lot of people think they know about the so-called Black Americans, but it's only based on TV. I was in the military. I met a lot of people that said they never met Black people before because they lived in small little towns, and the only thing they knew about niggas was from the goddamn TV, right? And we know the way they depict us on TV. You don't want nobody to know you or think that you're like what they show on the TV, right? It's propaganda. Are you offended by the propaganda? Even within the racially charged artwork, you can find divine truth hiding in your face. The magic behind the images, which speak 1,000 words, is how they can force you to hate everything being depicted. I guarantee you that even up until this very day, there is an original man or woman who is embarrassed to eat watermelon around other nations of people. Have y'all ever been eating? Y'all ever been out in public around a nigga that's scared to eat watermelon in front of other people because they feel like it's a stereotype? If you take them up around a bunch of white people, they wouldn't eat a watermelon because they'll feel like they're fit in a stereotype. There's people like that exist. You know, it's the same kind of people that'll see something happen and be like, "Y'all done set us back 1,000 years," you know, on that bullshit, right? But it's through propaganda. You know, propaganda made niggas eating watermelon like a racist kind of thing, right? So there's people that exist that won't eat, that will be like ashamed to eat watermelon around white people, if that's what you want to call them. These people successfully made some of us have questionable emotions about an incredibly healing fruit. This is the power of propaganda. And the pickaninny freeze, right? We know what pickaninny is, right? This is a indigenous American child, right? Advertisement, you can see an important message being relayed to the viewers. The top left of the advertisement tells its viewers, eat seeds and all, right? So when you see this picture right here, you kind of hyper focus on that. But right here is the message hidden in plain sight. Eat the seeds and all, right? But a lot of people will get caught up right here and they'll miss the whole message. They'll get caught up in this and miss the whole message because it's propaganda, right? But when it comes to watermelons, this shit is great. The health benefits of watermelon seeds are not well known to everyone, hence why we so often spit them into trash cans. In the middle of a park with acres upon acres of open field, we decide that our seeds are better fit for the trash than for the soil. You would think that we live in a world where hunger does not exist, right? We go to the park, these big ass fields, there's nothing going on but land upon land upon land. And we got all these seeded fruits that we're eating, and we're spitting the seeds on a plate and throwing it into the trash can and all these different things. And then now when we go to the grocery store, we're complaining because the watermelons don't have no seeds. But we've had a whole lifetime of our own to plant things and do what nature has been asking us to do. And we decided not to listen. We decided, you know what? Let's listen to the people that poison the water on purpose. Let's listen to the people that spray poison in the skies. And yeah, let's do what they say. Let's go get their food because that's going to be good for us. According to Hannah Ritchie, Pablo Rosado, and Max Roser, hunger and undernourishment. Almost 1 in 10 people in the world do not get enough to eat. 1 in 10 people, that's crazy. That means you sent your child to school and your child is sitting next to a hungry child. There's hungry children. That means when you go to work, there's hungry people all around you. That means when you're walking down the street, there's all kind of people that are hungry. They might not look like it because some people could really be on the edge of their seat, just fighting, to maintain. And they walk past you and they got on this nice outfit and you mistake them for their nice outfit, but in reality they don't have anything and they're like, God dang, and they're plotting on how to get the next dollar or whatever they're gonna do. But we don't talk to each other because they've also tricked us into thinking that we're in it alone and we don't have any support and that we have to do things alone and we have to forge our own path and cut through the bushes to do it. All this crazy shit. It's safe to say that the soil is a more responsible place for our seeds. If you decide to eat your watermelon seeds instead of spitting them out or planting them, I assure you that they will be beneficial in this way as well, right? Now, these are the benefits of watermelon seeds. The ones that we spit out, spit in the trash cans, and all these different things. We throw them away. We never save them, right? A good source of folate and vitamin B, good for bone health, have a potential diuretic and anti-inflammatory properties, right? A good source of protein, rich in healthy fats. Did y'all know all those things about watermelon seeds? Did you know that they were amazing like that? We've been spitting this shit out. Hey, put a 1 in the comments if y'all ever heard somebody or had somebody in your family tell you not to eat watermelon seeds or you'll grow a watermelon in your stomach. That's what they used to tell us when I was young. If you swallow watermelon seeds, you'll grow a watermelon in your stomach. God dang. Niggas was scared to swallow watermelon seeds. You know what I'm saying? Thought they were gonna grow a watermelon, but in reality, what you were gonna do was you were gonna have be eating some medicine. That's what was really gonna happen. You're gonna chew it up and eat some medicine. Protein, healthy fats, folate, vitamin B, anti-inflammatory, good for bone health. This right here this is key. Anti-inflammatory. That's a key because I feel like all these ancient texts have been trying to tell us something. You know what I mean? These ancient texts have been trying to tell us something and we haven't been paying attention. And we've been taking things in a weird way. And I'm going to try to make it clear here a little bit of something that is going on, right? You know what I mean? All right, this is a hadith, right? There is no disease that Allah has created except that He also has created its treatment, right? Put a 1 in the comments if you agree that, they've been lying about all this shit and there's something for everything. I'm to the point where I'm like, yo, there's something for everything. Because these people be going out their way to make sure like we don't get certain things, hide certain things, all this information. People get unalived for saying that there is like, yo, if they were lying, you wouldn't have to unalive them. That's the crazy part. Like, there's a lot of weird shit going on. Everything has an opposite. Facts, right? A lot of us have gone from the farm to the pharmacy, and our lack of knowledge has led to our downfall, right? I've been having that farm versus pharmacy, farm versus farm background for a couple of days, and little did y'all know that I was leading us back to my book the whole time because that topic came from my book. So everything I do is to try to like reference things that could always bring me back here because this is, you know what I mean? This is my thing. This is my jam right here. So I'm always trying to get a way to lead back to this. Even if it looks like I'm doing something different, I'm not. It's all predestined. All right. From the farm to the farm, right? And our lack of knowledge has led to our downfall. I will show you how the confusion of words has left us blind in this matter, right? Now, First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, right? For God is not the author of confusion. It's simple. It's simple, right? This divine truth is very important once you realize the true meaning of a pharmacy, right? What is a pharmacy? Look, pharmacy, magic, charm. People be like, magic don't work, don't exist. But in all of these divine terms that are everywhere, the word magic just be in there. Or there's magic in all kind of words. But people be like, oh, magic's not real. I think you just think magic is something other than what it is. Poison, drug, art or practice of preparing, preserving, compounding, dispensing, right? Let's go down. This is that was Merriam-Webster. This is the etymology dictionary, right? And right, a medicine that rids the body of an excess of humors. We know what humors are, right? Treatment with medicine, but it's also healing, harmful, poison, charm, a spell, an enchantment. It's all kind of shit. You don't know what the fuck is going on when you go there, right? But that's the issue, right? God is not the author of confusion, and within the etymology of pharmacy, you find a lot of confusion, right? It could be this or that, healing or harmful medicine, and healing or poisonous herb denote to pure confusion. First Corinthians gives another hint to why this confusion exists in the church. But as we can see, it also exists in the medical world, right? This confusion is everywhere. How is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you hath the psalm, hath the doctrine, hath the tongue, hath the revelation, hath an interpretation. Let all things be done unto edifying, right? If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at the most by three, and that by course, and let one interpret, right? Niggas ain't supposed to be speaking in tongues around you without telling you what the hell is really going on. You know, I guess unless you trust this individual. But when you go to the doctor, they be like, "Yeah, get yourself some hydrofluoxetines." You know what I'm saying? With 50,000 ingredients. That's tongues, and I need you to interpret every single thing that's going on right now, right? Because if not, then there's confusion going on, and there's no edifying happening. You know what I mean? The vast majority of the world is confused when it comes to their medicine because the ingredients are in a different tongue than what we're used to. The back of our medical prescriptions and even a lot of our foods contain ingredients that we can barely pronounce, let alone understand the true meaning of. This lack of understanding is pure confusion. You trust your doctor and your pharmacist, but do you really know what they are recommending for you to ingest? Do you know which ingredients are healing and which are harmful? If you don't know that shit, you don't know which one is doing what. You don't know which one is doing what. And remember, God is the first cause, right? And in the vast majority of today's medicines, you will find that there is a natural source at the base of it. I have a beautiful willow tree in my backyard right now that has leaves and bark that I can use as a pain reliever, and the aspirin companies are aware of this as well. It was found on Egyptian papyrus that the use of willow tree leaves treated inflammation, right? I told y'all, right? Anti-inflammatory. I'm telling you, that's a thing. That's like a super code. That's a super code. Anti-inflammatories. You know, inflammation is a keyword. If you ask me, inflammation is one of those keywords. If you got free hands, type inflammation in the comments. Let's remember this word. Let this word forever live in infamy because it needs to be remembered. Inflammation. I know somebody got a free hand. Y'all know how this shit goes. Y'all ain't new here. Y'all ain't new here. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Tap the screen. My son needs help. To the rescue. Let me play a song for y'all. Now don't y'all go running, all right? I'm just gonna get something. Be right back. Innovation. Look to your neighbor and say neighbor, and then tell your neighbor a story while I'm gone. Give me a couple minutes. Water, water we need, water we need. We need water, water, water we need, water we need, water, water. We need just enough water to bathe in, just enough water to cook with. They got enough water to play in. They got enough water to swim in. They got enough water to drown in. They got enough water for fountains. They got enough water for salmon. Well, we need enough water for a courtesy cup. We need just enough water for emergency stuff. They don't care if our water get dirty as fuck. We need enough water we can boil this crack, or oil these chapped lips, or boil these naps. They need enough water to destroy the facts, or offer you water behind your lawyer's back. Don't need a tub, don't need a cup, just a drop of the blood. I seen the storm come, I seen the warning. I know he's coming, I can't wait till he does. We need enough land to land on, just enough land to stand on. We live on the blocks with the houses abandoned. I appreciate y'all patience. I'm back. Real worry. Oh yeah, inflammation. Y'all all wrote inflammation in the comments, right? Right. This treatment is successful because both the bark and leaves of the willow tree contain salicin. Right. Salicin is converted by the body into salicylic acid, which is found in aspirin, and this is a perfect example of God being the first cause. Right. God is the first cause. During my research of this divine truth, I was led to research in pH, which represents potency, right? This element is very important when it comes to why medicine is no longer of nature. Dissatisfaction with the potency of the Most High's medicine led to the addition of ingredients, whether helpful or harmful, right? Have you ever heard of DNC yellow 10 aluminum lake, FDNC yellow 6 aluminum lake? Have you ever heard of those things? The yellows, the reds, and the blues, and the aluminums. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah, I've probably seen that shit in your children's cereal and your candy. You know what I mean? You ain't never heard of that? Wish I had some candy here so I could show y'all some of these ingredients on the back of your candy, right? According to late colorants exposed, how dangerous chemicals are lurking in your lipstick, right? Late colorants are primarily used in body care and cosmetics in order to make products look more attractive and, well, colorful to the eye. You may see them listed in the ingredients as yellow number 2. Have y'all heard of these? Yellow number 2, blue number 1, yellow 5 lake, blue 1 lake. However, these colorants are synthetic and not naturally produced, right? So if they're not naturally produced, and that means they're not of God, right? Or derived from natural sources, right? And they accumulate in the body, causing oxidative stress. They're made of tin oxide, and they cause oxidative stress. And seeing how those late colorants seem to be horrible, you will come to find that the risk within your DNC yellow 10 aluminum lake, right? Everybody type yellow 10 in the comments. Let's see if they'll let us get away with that. I want to see. That red 40 is bad business. Everybody type yellow 10. All right. Yellow 10. See if they'll let us get away with it. We just testing the ground, trying to see what they'll let slide, right? That shit is found in your aspirin, right? And the risk of it are cancer, reproductive health issues, and immunotoxicity. This means that your headache medicine is more of a headache than your headache is, and your pain medicine is more of a pain than your pain is, right? The Most High provided cures, and your pharmacist provided possibilities, probabilities, immunotoxicity, poison, debt, and a list of other discomforts and ailments. That's what's really going on. I'm gonna buy your book when I get home. I appreciate it. Something told me to start reading from the book again. You know what I mean? And then as soon as I started getting into it, I was like, oh shit, I wrote a really good book. Why don't I read it more? You know what I mean? Why don't I read it more? It's full of great information. You really took your time, self. You know what I mean? You're reading other people's books. You might as well read your own shit too. Get back to it. You know? Right? So these things have been demonized. They've been giving us all this, all right, this bullshit. All right. It is very important that you are able to open your entire mind, open your mind towards your inner self and towards the true issues of this current reality. There is another medicinal culture that they took from you and villainized. They used the very same propaganda machine that they used against the cultural healing properties of the watermelons to make a mockery of your music culture. You know what I mean? They made a mockery of your music culture, right? You know, if you hear what if you hear a banjo playing, what does that make you think of? Let's see if we can find a banjo song. Rashaud, can I have a free book? Book. Nike, can I have some free Jordans? Nah, just playing. But really, you know? Let's see. Snoring. I'm trying to find something, y'all. On the dark side of the earth. Nope. That wasn't it. I didn't want to hear nobody singing no shit. You know what I mean? On the dark side. Oh, no. Hey, when y'all hear this shit, what do y'all be thinking about? Like, if you hear this. Oh, people leaving? Just, y'all don't like the banjo? I love this shit. Lisa said white people are Mormons. Beverly Hillbillies. Oh, we got somebody in here that knows their stuff. What you know about the Beverly Hillbillies? They don't know real music for real. This shit is healing. This is medicine. I promise you. I'm not even making this shit up. We got some. This is medicine right here. That's why I'm playing it. Because I wanted y'all to hear it, and I wanted y'all to get accustomed to, like, yo, when I hear this, I shouldn't be thinking about, like, hillbillies in the sense of, like, just pale-skinned hillbillies. We should just think about people that are connected with nature. They're in tune with, like, that real shit. That's what that means. Banjo is that real shit, right? But they'll give you the banjo like this, right? Opera is good, too, you know, but they'll give you the banjo like this. You know, the only reason so opera's good, but I also like also you know, shout out to Ireland, you know, shout out to the Irish that were here. You know, they were calling them out their name too while they were here. They were calling them carpetbaggers and stuff. A TikTok entertainment purpose. So you know, the opera's cool, but I also like events where people get to dance and all that stuff. Like at the opera, everybody's just sitting down like You know what I'm saying? For like fucking 5 hours. People get yelled at for talking. One thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain. Shout out to Bob Marley, right? So there was a document called Your Brain on Strings, right? Many of these benefits are caused by the fact that listening to music engages the entire brain, which is very unique. Playing music causes more engagement and is even better for your brain. When playing music, the more mathematical left brain is being used for counting, the more creative right brain is being used for musical expression, and both hemispheres are used for fine motor control that playing the instrument requires. This can improve memory, cause better reaction times, and even physically alter the brain. Since music involves so much of both hemispheres, musicians are often found with a larger bridge, right, between the hemispheres called the corpus callosum. You know what I mean? So we got to get back to having instruments. We got to get back to having real instruments, playing real instruments, hanging out with each other. Like, everybody's talking about these barbecues or whatever the hell is going on. But when this shit is taking place, we should be playing real instruments out there and healing, dancing, take your shoes off, connect with nature, right? The banjo as a therapeutic instrument. Playing the banjo is not merely a pastime, it is a therapeutic journey for some that engages the mind, body, and spirit. And she goes on to say, its soothing melodies and rhythmic cadence provide a respite from the chaos of daily life, right? And, y'all know about the chaos, right? Like, that's what we're trying to get a hold of, the chaos, and get these elements together so that we could be sovereign rulers over ourselves, promoting mental clarity, relaxation, and physical coordination. Furthermore, the sense of community that playing the banjo can create is invaluable for combating feelings of isolation, right? And the reason why you want to combat the isolation is because, right? Hockley points to evidence linking perceived social isolation with adverse health, health consequences, including depression, poor sleep quality, impaired executive function, accelerated cognitive decline, poor cardiovascular function, and impaired immunity at every stage of life, right? So social isolation is no good for you, right? And that's why there's a lot of things that they put in play to keep us away from each other, right? Like they got gang injunctions and all those different things. This is socially isolate you, and all these things play a role in fucking with your mind. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing like if you watch all these movies like Superman and all whatever fuck kind of movies you be watching, the evil person is always a genius, right? It's always an evil genius. It ain't no like evil dumbass nigga. Like they're geniuses. They got big giant towers and mansions and all kind of tools. The only thing they do wrong is they talk too much. And then, at the end they got the superhero tied up, they talking forever, and then something happens and they lose. But the enemy is not a fool, right? That's why this shit is hidden within all kind of different things, right? But we're trying to get back to the fizz, right? The natural order of things, right? The fizz is nature or natural order, right? Rhyme or a reason. It goes into words like physic, healing potions, the art of healing, right? So we want to get back into the order of healing. That's what we're talking about. That's what we got going on here, everybody. That's what this shit is all about, right? And but the reason why we're so fucked up, right, is because nature is everything, right? That's what we're trying to reconnect with. We're trying to reconnect with nature because nature is everything, right? Ain't that what this shit has been about this whole time? This whole time we've been doing this thing, we've been talking about getting back to nature. And I've been like, yo, say peace nature in the comments, and y'all be like, peace nature, right? That's what this shit has been about since the beginning, right? That's what we're all here for, right? Because we read about nature, the name, right? Everybody's been here for that. Everybody's been here for that. That's what's going on. We're reconnected with nature. But they wanted to take you away from nature. So when you go and talk to them, right, they'll try to tell you that nature is alternative medicine, right? If you tell them, "Oh, I want to take herbs and I want to do this," they're going to tell you, "Oh, you're interested in alternative medicine," right? But in reality, their medicine is alternative, right? The medicine from nature is just native. It's just natural. It's just nature. There's no alters. It's not altering it. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that are doing the altering. They're really trying to turn it completely from what it was. You know what I'm saying? Completely from what it was to a whole nother thing. But they have to keep the truth at the basis of most stuff, like how when we talked about the aspirin, you know what I mean? Because they still want to get the effects, but they want to do other things to you as well at the same time, right? Right? Native also pertains to minerals in nature that occur in a pure state, right? That's what we love, right? It's been about this purity, right? With this information, you have to ask yourself, how can nature ever be considered an alternative? The alternative medicine can only be the medicine from nature that has been altered. Exactly. Remember in the demonology of King James, right, where it said, "I say and prove by diverse arguments that witches can, by the power of their master, cure and cause diseases." In order for these people to usher in these alternatives, they would first have to control the natural source, right? How do they control the natural source? What's the natural source? You are. You're the natural source, right? Because remember, it said, what do? You take nature and then you take what nature gave you and you work from there. Ain't that what it was saying? Like you master the arts through working with what nature has left you, right? Nature done her part, leaving the rest for the art. You know what I'm saying? Nature did her part and the rest is up to you. You know what I mean? But we're connected to nature. That's the thing that we have in common. So we are the natural source, right? That's why when we put our hands on plants, shit starts healing. People start healing and getting better, right? Because this is how it was meant to be, right? The same way when you get back connected with your own self, you start to feel better and heal and get better. It's just deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the work we go, right? Until everybody's happy. How does this happen? This is made possible by conquering farm towns, right? This is what was happening, conquering farm towns, taking control of open farmland, and also killing off or imprisoning the people with wisdom of these natural practices, right? So the demonology of King James says this: in common with the Catholic movement of the era, which saw its own share of witch trials and pogroms against herbalists and ritual working, right? Put a one in the comments. Oh, damn, we got a restriction. Man, y'all. Hold on. Let's see what this is about. God damn, man. What do we do this time, TikTok? Let's go ahead and appeal it. All right, put a one in the comments if you ever use herbs or do any kind of ritual working, right? If you telling too much, you know what, you know how it goes, Deb. Can't do this kind of shit. if you ever if you've ever been considered a herbalist, considered yourself a herbalist, if you ever done any kind of ritual, put a one in the comments. I know y'all have, so don't lie to me, right? How do I get the uh so you can either go to the Amazon rainforest for it, you know what I mean? Or you can Inbox me if you want a signed copy, right? So it was pogroms. Can y'all type this word in the comments? Pogroms. Everybody type pogroms. Type pogroms in the comments. Right? So it was pogroms against herbalists, and all y'all put a 1 in the comments. What is a pogrom? A pogrom is an organized body goes to, right? Because even if you don't go to the Catholic Church, all of these other denominations of Christianity and everything, they all have similar doctrine. They just had revolutions where they kind of try to change the church around and make it fit their thing. But all these people are under the same kind of shit, right? So all these churches and everything, these churchgoers, that's what they were doing. And they do it to this day. You know what I mean? That's why when you start talking about rituals and all the other things that you talk about, the first people that'll call you, she's a witch, you know, or that's demon, that's demonic shit is going to be the churchgoers, right? Because it's in their blood, it's in their history, it's in their doctrine, the way that they teach it, of course, to feel that way, even though the Bible is full of witchcraft. It's full of it, right? All kind of witchcraft and mancies and shit going on in the Bible. Stupid ass Christians. Hey, you know, you can't trust them. Hey, look, I take that back. That I don't want to call anybody the S word, but they kind of just, you know. Dear reader, the witch hunt was a hunt for the natural healers and a poor excuse to take innocent lives. Unfortunately, the witch hunt never stopped. It was just transformed to fit the times. An example of a modern day witch hunt is the way the news portrayed the concept of being woke. Remember when Krishna says, I am the consciousness of all creatures, and re-examine what an attack on woke truly is. Y'all remember when they were like, it's an attack on woke. You know, woke people are the bad guys. Remember they were talking about all that shit? Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Where were we? Oh, remember they were attacking the woke? It was on the news every day. That woke shit, right? Conscious, having mental faculties undulled by sleep, faintness, or stupor, awake, consciousness, the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself. So, if consciousness is the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself, and it means to be awake, right? Woke, and they were attacking woke. Then what were they really attacking? Was it an attack on God? Because if the kingdom of God is within you, and being conscious or consciousness is aware, especially of something within you, 9 times out of 10, you're aware of the God within you. So when they were attacking the woke community, they were trying to attack God. right? But that's okay. Turmeric, sage, ashwagandha, lemon balm, rosemary, and cayenne pepper are just a few herbs that I would recommend adding to your kitchen regulars. These herbs that I just mentioned are known to aid in cognitive health, which is extremely important in a world where being woke is frowned upon. It is important that we arm ourselves with all of the tools that would make us capable of caring for ourselves. Who is going to love you better than yourself, right? The definition of consciousness mentions being aware of something within oneself. And when you gain that awareness, it motivates health. Your body is the ultimate temple that you are building on this journey through life, and you must build a righteous one. There is no coincidence that your enemy built a food pyramid that absolutely destroyed your temple. And you can find ease in knowing that this man-made structure will not outlast the Most High or your temple, which houses that essence. And we know essence is your true being, right? Essence is your true being, right? Witches do exist, right? Witches do exist. This is one of my favorite books, Working the Roots, right? In 2001, the government required all water witches and well diggers to prove they were qualified. This meant passing a test filled with mathematical equations and questions on geology and hydrology, 30 years of experience and validated by the stroke of a pen. You know what I mean? That's because these individuals knew the land, they knew where to find water, but the other people were like, "Yo, man, we can't have these people out here finding their own water. We got to stop this shit. We got to stop it." And while they're going through all these processes to figure all these things out, we're going to get the water. We're going to control the water. And by the time we start handing them out certifications, it'll be too late. And the only thing that'll be left for them to do is work for us because we've already got control of all the water while we were giving them the runaround. Right? So we talking about fasting, we talking about eating healthy, we talking about all that shit, right? It's important. It's also important to get back in tune with the magic that we naturally had, right? This is from the demonology of King James, right? His rudiments I call first in general, all that which is called vulgarly the virtue of words, herbs, and stones. Ain't that what y'all be using? Words, herbs, and stones. Ain't that what this shit is all? This is what this shit is all about. This is y'all talk about the demonology and King James and all these things. This is what everybody was scared of: words, herbs, and stones. Why was everybody so scared of words, herbs, and stones? Why would the king, the mighty king, be like, "Yo, what the? Watch out for them herbs and stones." If this shit meant nothing, it's in the Bible. It's everywhere. Shit is everywhere, man. They were healing with those things, right? And when it comes to your body, you got to remember over 95% of the world's population has health problems, with over a third having more than 5 ailments, right? And the reason for that is because your tongue is an altar, and the food that you put on your tongue, which is your altar, determines who you feed. You can have food that is good for your mind, body, and soul, which goes to the Most High, right? Because the Most High is seated in your mind, right? Or you can have food that feeds the parasites, right? And the parasite is Satan. The parasite is a serpent, is Satan, right? Look, Revelation, okay, 22. He laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That old serpent, right? Y'all following along? Y'all get me, right? It is also important that we comprehend the concept of resetting history. When the unrighteous conquered the world, they also began to spread misinformation along with changing the meaning of words, the names of people, the dates and locations of events, and the list could continue to an extent that seems endless, right? No, y'all heard of that before. They try to, they say a lot of people got it, right? Even more people have it than you think. Definitely if you go based on the old definition, right? Didn't I say that this was an important word? Y'all remember when I was talking about inflammatories, anti-inflammatory, and how important it is, right? You know what I mean? A spreading skin eruption, the name for the disease shingles, literally, right? Creeping, to creep, right? What does that say? Y'all see that? The condition was not distinguished into specific diseases until the early 19th century, right? But before that, it was any inflammatory. It was the serpent, right? That old serpent, Satan, right? You know what I mean? Serpent, right? The limbless reptile, right? Creeping thing, right? Creeping, the creeping thing, right? To creep. You remember, y'all remember TLC? Right? Y'all don't remember TLC. Let's listen. Let's listen, and sometimes when you listen, you hear things differently, right? Sometimes when you hear things differently and then you put it into perspective, you can be like, yo, there was a message. I used to love TLC. T-Boz, I used to love her voice so much. Oh my God. That shit, that raspy shit, what the fuck? Y'all remember this? Tap the screen, y'all. Does anybody know what this song is about? Does anybody know what this song is about? It's about cheating, adultery, right? Y'all remember in the etymology, right? The serpent. It was the creeping thing, right? So if Satan had a song, wouldn't this be one of them? All right, so what's one of TLC's biggest songs? Parasites make you cheat and creep. Y'all remember the I don't know how young y'all are. Y'all remember the y'all remember the Waterfalls video? Do y'all remember what the story was in the Waterfalls video? There you go, Frequency. What? So they went from So I Creep to Waterfalls. And Waterfalls is about contracting that the HI, you know what I mean? This is the Waterfalls was the result of the creeping. What does DOF mean? That's probably why Left Eye went to go see Dr. Sebi. Go see Dr. Sebi. Good to me. Right? She gives him loving that his body can't handle, and all that he could say is, baby, she's good to me. Had us in the club singing about dying. Only once the drugs are done, I feel like, right? So boom, that takes us right back to where we were, right? I was playing the music for a reason, y'all. We started with So I Creep, right? Creeping, right? Creeping, right? The serpent, Satan. You see how that all goes? You see what we're doing here? You feel me? They put that shit all in your face, right? In the beginning was a word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. All your enemy could ever do was manipulate a truth that was already set into place. This allows us a natural ability to read between the lines. We know what we are once we know what we are looking for, right? I don't want to dive too deep into outer worldly storylines, but many people speak of a race of reptilians, and I can bring a shocking truth to this. Satan connects to serpent. which connects to herpes, and herpes connects to herpetology, which is the study of reptiles. Remember that herpes wasn't confined to a specific disease until the 19th century, but herpes has always been connected to the serpent and in turn the reptile. The serpent or reptile survives while living within your body under the classification of a parasite. Dum dum dum. Right now, when you watch all those Catholic scary movies, what's usually happening to the main character? In a scary movie that has Catholic priests that come around, what is usually happening to the main character? Something's happening to the main character. There we go, Lisa. A possession. So they call the priest to come save the day. There you go, Niji. Exactly, frequency. They come to do an exorcism because the main character is possessed by a demon, right? A parasite, a hanger on, a toady, a person who lives on others, right? One who lives at another's expense, person who eats at the table of another, right? Now, the thing about a parasite, God dang, book. The thing about a parasite is there is scarcely any animal. Can y'all see? My fault. Peace, peace, Badu. Right? There is scarcely any animal that may not or does not serve as the host of parasites, and some parasites are themselves the host of other parasites. Parasites form no technical group of animals, right? No technical group, since representatives of almost any class or order, from protozoans to vertebrates, may be parasitic, right? So that means when we do our fasting, y'all, but you never see black people possessed. That's because that's the ancestors coming through these people. Maybe. You do see black people possessed. You ever watch that movie? What is that one movie? Soul Food. You ever seen the movie Soul Food? Soul Food is a movie about demonic possession. Our possessions just look a little bit different, right? But Soul Food was one of those. Soul Food is the same as The Exorcism. Ain't no difference. Same movie, right? Possess, because what is possess? To occupy, inhabit, right? To have and hold, to hold in one's control, to be master of, to own, right? These are all the different things, right? So we're going to get into Dr. Del Gradis, a study on parasitic influence, right? On the neurological evolution, right? Because because these parasites are destroying us, right? Did parasite manipulation influence human neurological evolution? Many parasites manipulate host behavior in order to increase reproductive success and to spread across wider areas. Dr. Delgadite cites such examples as Toxoplasma gondii. Have you ever heard of Toxoplasma gondii? Right? Which hitches a ride in a rat and induces epigenetic changes in the rodent's amygdala, which is located in the brain, right? All right, these changes diminish its predator aversion around cats, the protozoan's intended destination, and the only animal in which it can reproduce, right? As a side effect, it can infect humans. You know, all of y'all with them cats in your house, you got to be careful. The cats be giving y'all parasites. People are a reproductive dead end for T. Gandhi, but it also believed to alter human behavior, right? It can alter human behavior. So if you are infected with the serpent slash reptile, this means that you are possessed, right? You are possessed even to the point that your thoughts, functions, and genetics can be changed. Some of this control is done through direct causes, and some causes are indirect, With that being said, it is important to know that the parasite Toxoplasma gondii has been linked to schizophrenia. It is possible that we have been searching high and low for the reptilian, but many of us just had to go look in the mirror. A long look in the mirror will show us individuals who are possessed by reptilian serpent parasites, who are controlling our mind, health, and emotions and behaviors. Right? That's a demonic possession. The parasites in your body. What's up?
And don't give me flies. You don't know.
Okay, go lay down. I'm gonna come get you in a minute. Thank you. All right. All right. So this is from Susan Puckett, right? PA of Boulder Medical Center, internal medicine and ENT departments, right? Although fasting can be challenging and sometimes uncomfortable, the mental and physical benefits can boost cognitive performance, right? Protect from obesity and associated chronic diseases, reduce inflammation, right? Remember, I told y'all inflammation was a big word, right? Reduce inflammation, improve overall fitness, support weight loss, decrease the risk of metabolic diseases, and benefit the big C patients. This is fasting, right? Always remember to give your offerings to the Most High. The first listed benefit was boost cognitive performance, proving that those righteous offerings benefit your brain, which houses the supreme. Knowledge of the field allowed your ancestors to stay righteous, but also led them to being targeted and branded by the titles of witches and warlocks, etc. You haven't been in your right mind for a very long time, so do not be too hard on yourself. Life is all about learning and experiences. We've experienced enough sickness to last thousands of years beyond us, and it is finally time for us to experience healing, health, the medicine. You feel me? Boom. We made it through a whole chapter, y'all. I kind of skipped a few things, but I've read the book enough time that I know how to jump to certain things just to prove the point I'm trying to prove. Right? Watch this. This is one of my favorite quotes from my book. Y'all know I love this book from the TikTok shop. Look, that's what happens when your children want to take notes. So I got this one. It's God's medicine. God made the roots. He made them and we didn't. He made them so you don't have to run to the doctor for everything, right? That was from Miss Sally McLeod, right? That's what she had to say. And then this is from Pete Smith. When you get sick, folks just got to go to a doctor, Mr. Pete says. They don't know they're making the doctor rich. Once you go, he gonna wear you out, keep you coming back every 2 weeks, coming back for those pills, and they change up pills on you. What the doctor doing? You know, when he trying all that kind of stuff, he trying to get you hooked. They trying to figure out. They're trying to figure it out. If they really don't, damn, they don't. He don't. My son don't woke everybody up. They don't know, but they still trying to get money out of y'all. All right, you got to get a new one. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Go play. Here I come. They trying to figure it out if they really don't know, but they still getting money out of you all the time. I know people went to the doctor and got medicine from the doctor and it didn't do them a bit of good. Well, he told them to come back, and when they went back, Well, I want to see you again in 2 weeks. You see how that worked? All right, you go back there in 2 weeks. Well, he may change them pills or medicine on you, and he say again, I want to see you back in 2 weeks. That doctor got a book there with everybody name in it. He know just how many patients he got. He know just how much money he gonna make because he having you come back every 2 weeks, and he just got money rolling round the clock. Round the clock, his money is rolling. I've been learned that for a long time. I've been learned that for a long time because I was bringing my children up. Sometime you have to carry a child to the doctor. Sometime, but you don't. You don't have. And what is that? But you don't have to carry as much as I see these younger people doing now. Now doctors is good for a lot of things. You don't want to die. Well, the Lord put him here and gave him knowledge and how to go about to do these things. But like I say, a lot of the time they practicing. I don't like to go to doctors, but just like they try different medicines, sometimes you have to try different weeds and roots to see what's gonna work. But it's better for you. All right, y'all, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? The people are up, but I might be back live at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? Peace and abundance. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. You know what I mean? But there's a party going on behind me. I gotta be the bouncer. I got.
No lie, this morning woke up kinda heavy. Thoughts flooded my brain, almost broke a levee. Let me get steady, let me center myself. Before I do for anybody else, let me consider myself. Check my mental health, self. How's your heart? How you feeling today? What's your capacity for humans? What's your ceiling today? Before you think about them bills, what you building today? Find your flow, don't let them stones they throw get in your way. Weights on my shoulders, let me go.
I guess we leaving right on time because I just got another restriction.
Let me plant myself, yeah. Let me water my stem, lay my root chakra. I know that it's been running on E. I've been fuming. Know the vibes godly. Seem like they forgetting that I'm human. Assuming
Hell yeah,
that I don't
Big
need
C.
solitude and silence. Before I choose violence, I meditate and pray. I went for a walk. I heard the elders say, I heard the elders say,
Thank you, Original Haley J. Thank you, Aura.
I heard the
Much
elders
love and
say,
gratitude for the
be
consider.
still, be
Salute,
free, be
rep.
real. Your life can change
Peace,
in a
Navy.
minute,
Peace,
just let
peace,
time
peace, peace,
reveal.
Nicole.
I
Good
know
to
they
see you.
watching, waiting for
What's
me
up,
to
Miss
fall
Lovely?
off.
What's up, David?
Job saying I ain't got permission to call off. Well, I ain't going to work today, I'm working on me. People calling, I ain't talking phone, I'm D&D. She like, when am I gonna see you? When I'm done seeing me. It's easy for people to gaslight you if you out here living on E. It's time to fill up. You gotta deconstruct to reconstruct. It's time to build up. I took some hard blows, Lord knows it's time to heal up. No more looking down, nah, chest out, chin up. On E. Moving so fast before I crash, let me slow down and go on the fast. I'm passing on that ocean, leaving that in the past. They ask, hey, where you been?
Doors for ladies?
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Can I
But
can
go
I get
ahead,
in there
love.
real quick? Can I get in real
A
quick?
man could love some
Please.
Can I?
shoes.
Let her land real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it to you, madam. Go ahead.
No problem. Okay, a man could love some shoes. Every time he take them shoes off, he gonna clean them, take care of it, and cherish them. It's the same. If a man to take care of an object, how he gonna love and take care of the woman he love? A man who getting money don't care about money. Men who, let me just say what I'm saying.
Why they getting money?
Let me tell you what. Let me
talking
finish
about?
saying what I'm saying. One thing, my dad is a worker. He told me and how he live and how he take care of his family. Men who work and have a hustle, they know they can make more money. So it's nothing to get a girl some money because they know they can make it again. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. Let me finish. This the last part of my statement. This the last thing of my statement. Only men who are worried about money. My daddy said this: a man is stingy only because he gotta be. Real